Hello, this is Gringo in the Kitchen with Zenobia Beckley, and today we're going to be working on a healthy meal prep, which will include, it's going to be Parmesan chicken. We've got the chicken prepared here, got it seasoned up. Then I also have some ground beef, okay? And the seasoning I'm going to be using today for the ground beef, I'm going to use the Nature Seasons No GMO spice. It's got the onion, it's got the pepper and the garlic in there. Put a little bit of that in there. We'll mix it up. Okay, and then along with that, we've got some turmeric. Just sprinkle a little bit of turmeric in there. Okay. Along with the turmeric, we've got some chili powder. All right, just a little bit. Okay. And then some paprika. I like to put a lot of this stuff. Mix it in. Your meat can be awful boring if you don't put something with it. All right? We're going to mix it up, and then I'm going to put a little bit of balsamic in there to finish it off, okay? Just mix it up. Get some on the bottom here, get it mixed in. Okay. Okay. Let's see that. Just going to put a little bit more of my seasoning on that. It didn't quite get to the bottom. Okay. All right, and then let's just take some of this balsamic vinegar, mix that in a little bit. Usually I like to do this and let it sit for a little bit. Sometimes 10 to 15 minutes will let it, when you let it sit, it gets a chance to soak into the meat. And then some cumin, just a little bit. All right. Just finish that up here a little bit, and I'm going to let it sit. Then I'll go into the meat here a little bit and explain what I put into that, or into the chicken. All right. In the chicken, I've already put some of my seasoning, and I believe there's a little bit of paprika, not too much because we're always going to have some on the hamburger. And then we put some chili powder, and then some turmeric in there also, along with the balsamic vinegar. Okay, some of the other things we're going to be using for our healthy meal prep, we got some mixed vegetables here, which we will be steaming. Like to steam everything in the vegetables to keep the nutrients in. And then also for the meatballs, to get the meatballs to hold together and to add to the meatballs, we've got a little mixture here. And in that mixture, we use cilantro. We use a little bit of onion. We diced up the onion. I've got some green onions in there. Then I also got some diced up tomatoes, and then you can see the sweet pepper there on the plate. I've used orange at this time, but we got different types of pepper we can put in there. Also, took some garlic, diced up a garlic, put it in there, and then with that, I've got for the cooked cabbage. I'm going to go ahead and cut the cabbage. I'm going to slice it up, and then with the cabbage, I'm going to put some onions in there, and we're going to saute that in a pan. All right? Okay, let's begin with the chicken as it takes a little bit longer to cook. I'm going to start setting up the chicken and getting it into the oven. But first of all, we've got to give it a bath in the egg, and then mix it with the Parmesan and the breadcrumbs. So I've got these right here. It's just the Italian style. And then the Parmesan cheese is what we use here. So first of all, I took a couple eggs, and I mixed up the eggs here, and that's what we're going to bathe the chicken in before we put it into the Parmesan breadcrumb mixture. So we got 1 cup of breadcrumbs, and then we've got a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Okay, just mix that up. Make sure you break up the little clumps if there are any. And it's already got a few of its spices of its own in there. You can see the flakes of green. That's a little bit of the Italian stuff that they put in there. Okay. All right, just make sure it's mixed. And then what we're going to do is I got about 3/4 of a stick of unsalted butter. And the reason I choose unsalted is because we got salt in everything else here. All right. And I put that in the bottom of the pan that I'm going to be doing the baking in. So we don't want it to stick. And that's why we put that in there. It's healthy. All right, just make sure it covers the whole bottom. There we go. All right. So now we start with the chicken, and I cut these up in fillets because that's what we want for our. That's how we want to do our meals. Okay. So I'm just gonna do both sides here. Just make sure that you've got, you know, the egg on all sides. All right. And then we're going to take it over here. We're going to put it in the crumbs. Okay. You just want to make sure that you cover it. And then we're going to flip it over. Maybe you have to do it a couple times to make sure everything's good. And shake it off a little bit. And then we're going to set it right over inside of the pan here. Okay? All right. One more. Let's make sure it gets bathed well. Okay. Move it to the next. Move it around a little bit. Cover it up. Okay. And I just flip it over a couple times. You see how that looks? You got that seasoning, everything on there so nice. Okay. Parmesan chicken is very, very, very delicious. Okay. Just make sure you got it. Flip it over. Okay. You can do this with fish too. Say if you don't want to eat, especially during Lent for the Catholics, you don't want to eat meat on Friday, you can do this with fish. Then you have your vegetarian folks will be happy too. You get this in the oven, put it in there for, I think it's 395 degrees for about 30 minutes. And at the same time, we'll be getting our meatballs ready, and then we'll be sticking those meatballs in the oven at about the same temperature, and we can cook them at the same time. That way you can save money on your gas or your electricity. Okay. Okay, we get one more in there. Okay, here's a nice one. And we can move these around just a little bit so you have room, but because they're going to shrink when you're cooking them. Okay, there we go. All right, now this is ready to put into the oven. You can see it's all ready to go. All right, one final thing here with the Parmesan chicken. I'm taking a little bit of aluminum foil, and I'm going to cover this, and we're going to cook it or bake it for 20 minutes with the covered, and then after the 20 minutes you uncover it and let the remaining time just go ahead and let it cook and finish up. Okay, the meat or the ground beef has had time to sit, rest a little bit, get some of that spice soaked in. So now we're going to go ahead and make the meatballs. Okay, and the mixture that I had talked about before, it's got all the goodness of onions and green peppers and cilantro and garlic all in there, and even I think we get some green onions in there too. We just mix that in. You see the colors, how that all comes together with the red meat. All right, we just want to make sure we get that all mixed in. And then the product that we're going to use to help it stick together so we can make meatballs is we got some eggs here that we're going to use, okay? But we want to make sure this is all mixed. And sooner or later, I'm going to have to use my hands, so make sure you take off any jewelry and wash your hands real well. They're saying for 20 seconds, you scrub your hands to make sure you have everything clean. We're getting it mixed up real well here. Now it's time to dig in with the hands. And I'm going to put 2 eggs in here. Okay, so the final thing here, one of the final things we got is the eggs in here. Once we get the eggs mixed in, we are going to throw a little bit of the breadcrumbs in here, and that will also help bind it together. The breadcrumbs just finalizes it, but I want to get the egg mixed in first before I do the breadcrumb, or it'll all soak into the breadcrumb and we'll have a chance to get mixed throughout the meat. Okay, just mix it up real well here. You can see the egg is all through. Okay. Okay. Now I use about 4 tablespoons, maybe 5 of the breadcrumb. Put about half of it in there. Mix it in. Okay. Finish it up here. Okay. There we go. And once you do all this, there's plenty of spices in this now. It's got the right amounts of salt and everything, so it's really, really good. You can smell it now too. It's got a lot of that stuff coming to life. Get it mixed here a little bit more, and then I'm going to start forming the balls, and then I will put them on the pans here and put them in the baking. All right. Okay, I've got some coconut oil spray. I'm going to spray the bottom of these pans. Although the meat itself will give off some grease of its own, I just want to make sure nothing sticks. Okay. Going to grab some of this. Now the meat I got is we got roughly about 1.75 pounds, almost 2 pounds of meat here. And if you're going to make if you're going to make a decent amount of your healthy meals, you need to have at least 2 pounds. And you can always make a few extra if you like. And I just roll it together. You see how that works? Maybe a little bit too much here, but it's sticking together real well. And the colors are coming out as you're rolling these, putting these together. The colors are coming out into the balls, and they're going to shrink down a little bit. So I'm making them about 1.5 inches in size. See that? All right. I'm going to go through and do these, and I'll be right back. Okay, the meatballs are complete here. Going to go ahead and put them in the oven for 390 degrees for 30 minutes or until they're golden brown. It's time to put the vegetables in now. You're probably going to need about 3 packages here if you're going to do 8 meals, 15 ounce packages. And you just pour it in here evenly, and then the steam will come up through it. Do this for about 15 to 20 minutes. You have to keep an eye on it. Okay, it's time to do the cooked cabbage. We've got a half a head of cabbage here, and I've already cut it in half, and I took out the root, I guess you would call that, the heart of the cabbage. And now I'm just going to slice it up. Okay, and you want to slice it maybe half inch like so. And then you just put it in your bowl. Just break it apart a little bit. But you want to have those leaves about that big, all right? There we go. I might cut these in half, just a little bit here. And you can get any color cabbage you want, but I wanted the purple here, sort of add a little bit to color. They all taste the same as far as the cabbage itself goes. Okay, now we just make sure it's all broken up. So what I've done here is I divided it up into a couple bowls because I want to make sure that it equally gets set up for the saute. And then a little bit of this avocado oil. All right, probably about maybe a tablespoon. It's not too much. I got some onion here. I'm going to equally disperse that amongst the 2 of them. Okay. Break them up a little bit, make sure it gets equal. There we go. And just mix it up with your hands. And now to finalize, I'm going to take a little bit of spice here. This is the garlic and the salt, onion again, but just in the powder form. Got some chili powder, a little bit of that. Okay, and then just one final turn. Then we put it in the pan and begin the saute. Okay, now begin to saute the cook the cabbage. Going to put it already has a lot of oil on it, so we're not going to do anything with the pan. Don't really need to add anything else in there. Okay, just put it in here and let it begin to saute. Just cover it up. About 10 to 12 minutes should be all you need. Okay, I've got the chicken uncovered at this time. The Parmesan, you can see how it's cooking up. Now it's time that another 10 minutes here, and then it's going to get golden brown on top. Almost ready here. We've got the cooked cabbage, good to go. Parmesan chicken, all set. And we also got the meatballs here. The steamer still has the vegetables for another couple minutes, and I'll start putting the meals together. It's now time to put together our healthy meals for the week. Everything is prepared here, but there's a word for the week I want to give you. Meatballs, bolinhos de carne. Okay, remember that, bolinhos de carne. Okay, so let's begin with our first meal. All the meals are going to get some cooked cabbage. All right, so we'll go ahead and put that in the end of here. Okay, we just put that in there, and we're going to have some vegetables. Okay, and again, you can freeze these up to 30 days, but we usually eat them within a week. Okay, a little bit more cooked cabbage, and then this one here is going to have the Parmesan chicken. So look at that. You just lay that right in there, and that's your meal for the week. We'll start again with the cabbage. Very healthy meal here. Then you get some vegetables. You got your beans, your peas, your corn, all mixed into here. Okay, and then we got meatballs, and we have enough meatballs. I think we'll put 5 or 6 meatballs per meal. There's 4. There's 5. Okay, look at that. All right, ready to go. Okay, I have all my meals for the week. The healthy meals for the week are put together. Again, it's Parmesan chicken with meatballs as your protein, and then you've got the vegetables along with the cooked cabbage. And another word for the week is cabbage, repolho. Repolho in Portuguese. Well, thank you for being with me this week for a healthy meal prep with Gringo in the Kitchen with Zenobia Beckley. And please share, like, and on the right-hand or left-hand side of your screen, you're going to see her picture. When you push on that picture, you're going to be able to subscribe to her channel. There's also going to be a bell. Click on that bell twice, and you'll be able to receive notices when we have new videos coming out. So on behalf of us here, Gringo in the Kitchen, thank you. We'll see you next week.